All right, so for this game, we have what is essentially a grouping game. We have a bunch of these, I guess, newspaper sections, 3 of them specifically, and there's going to be photographers whose photographs are going to be assigned to these sections. Now, arguably, you could set this game up in 2 different ways. You could arguably run this either by the sections across the top, so you would have L, M, and S, and then you can assign the photographers to the sections. Or alternatively, you could have actually gone the other way. You could have arguably ran it by the photographers across the top. We have F, G, and H. And you could have assigned which sections their photographs go into to each photographer. Now, in this game, even though technically you could have gone either way, it's definitely a better approach to go with the newspaper sections across the top. The reason being is that if we run it that way, if we run L, M, and S across the top, we're given an exact spacing setup for the 3 sections. We're told outright that there's going to be exactly 2 photographs per section. And that's great. That's incredibly powerful to have an exact spacing setup for these guys. So we're definitely going to go in this direction. Now, the elements themselves, as we had said, we have F, G, and H. And I don't believe they give us any minimums or maximums on these guys. So I guess let's take a look. So the first rule says that for each photographer, at least 1, but no more than 3 photographs must appear. So here we go. Now we do have a distribution setup. So we know that for each of these 3 guys, essentially we can say there's going to be a minimum of 1 and a maximum of 3 for each. Now, the fact that we have to have at least 1 for each one, I guess that would take up 3 of 6 spaces, but that still leaves us with quite a bit of flexibility. There's 3 extra spaces to account for, so that's probably not worth going too far down that path. Let's keep going. The second rule tells us that at least 1 photograph in lifestyle must be by a photographer who has at least 1 photograph in metro. So in other words, L has to be the same as M, a minimum of 1. So basically there's going to have to be a shared photo between these 2 sections. So I guess that's pretty good. Next, the number of H photos in lifestyle must be the same as the number of F photos in sport. Ooh, so that is a heavy rule. So I guess the number of H's in here has to be the same as the number of F's in there. So I guess in terms of symbolization, we can say that the number of H's in L has to be the same as the number of F's in S. But let's just talk about the implications, because I guess in terms of the number of H's under here, I guess it could be 0, 1, or 2, and that's going to have to translate into here as well. And that can be pretty powerful. That's potentially a lot of elements taken care of right there. So for example, if we have 2 H's here, we'll have to have 2 F's there. And then G's we're going to have at least 1 G somewhere. So it's going to have to be in there. Oh, and there's an overlap. So it's going to be an H. So especially if we have 2 and 2, that's going to be a huge kind of restriction. If it's 0 and 0, so 0 here and 0 there, well, then actually still, I suppose we would have to have H's and F's somewhere, although I guess they could go to the other side. So for example, if we have 0 H's here, you could have some H's on this side. So that's a little bit more loose. But anyways, that might be worth exhausting because there's only 3 major directions that can go. So let's just kind of keep that in mind. Next, the last rule, none of the G's can be in sports. Ooh, that's even bigger now. So G cannot go into sports. So there are no G's here. So that really limits kind of how this rule is going to play out with the sports. So you know what, let's exhaust this based on this second rule in terms of how many H's we could have in L to equate to the number of F's under S. So essentially we can say either we're going to have 0 H's here and 0 F's there, in which case we're just simply not allowed H's here and we are not allowed F's here, or alternatively we're going to have exactly 1 H here with exactly 1 F there, or we're going to have 2 H's here and 2 Fs there. And of course, in every single one of these, we have to have exactly 2. Now, actually, wait a minute. In the top scenario, if we can't have any Fs here and we cannot have any Gs, then it's just going to be Hs. So that's great. We're definitely going to have double Hs here. And then from there, I guess we can't have any Hs in here. And I suppose we could have one H in here. We're going to have an overlap between these two to some degree, right? But we could have an H here and the remaining person can overlap. So we have a little bit of flexibility there. In the second scenario, there's no more Fs in here. Oh, wait a minute, there's also no Gs either. So this would also then have to be an H in this position. That's pretty good. And otherwise, there's no more H's here, but I guess that could be an F or a G. You know what, let's even just leave a reminder. We have to have an F or a G here. And I suppose the overlap, whoever is here, it could be really anybody, right? We could have H's, F's, G's, so that seems a little bit flexible. Okay, cool. In the last scenario, so L and S are done. That means that we're going to have a G in here because we have to have at least one G somewhere on the board. And since we have to have an overlap, it's going to have to be an H in this position. So this is actually entirely done. So that's pretty awesome. So from there, I suppose we can probably go into the questions. Yeah, let's go with what we have. So the questions themselves. Question number 7 is our first exclusion question, and as usual, we do this by the original set of rules. So rule number 1 said that for each photographer, at least 1, max 3 of each person. So let's take a look. Answer choice A. Actually, you know what? This is going to be a pain in the ass to test for. Let's come back to this rule if the rest of them don't give us what we need. So the second rule. At least 1 lifestyle must be the same as at least 1 metro. So we have to have an overlap between lifestyle and metro. So answer choice A has an overlap, B has an overlap, C does not. Lifestyle has 2 Fs and metro has 2 Gs. That's not cool. We can get rid of answer choice C. Answer choice D has an overlap on G. That's fine. And E also has an overlap on H. Next. Third rule was that the number of H's under L has to be the same as the number of F's under S. So answer choice A has 0 H's under L and 0 F's under S. So that's legit. We can hold on to A. B has 0 H's under L and 0 F's under S. That's fine as well. Answer choice D has, again, 0 H's under L and we have 1 F under S, which is not going to work. So we can get rid of answer choice D. And E, we have 1 H under L and 1 F under S. So that's legit. Next, none of the G's can be in sports. So that's an easy enough one to test. In fact, it might have been worth taking a look at that one first. So answer choice A has a G under sports. That's not going to work. We can get rid of A. Answer choice B does not. Answer choice E does not. So now let's go back to that first rule, which is that for each photographer, we have to have at least 1, max 3. So answer choice B looks like 1 F, 1 F. So that's 2 Fs in total. We have 1 G, 1 G, and we have 2 H's. So that looks okay. We can hold on to B. Just in case, let's take a quick look at E. We have, let's see, 1 H, 2 more. Oh no, that's not going to work. So you'll notice that answer choice E has 4 H's total. That puts us past our maximum of 3. So we can get rid of answer choice E, and that leaves us with answer choice B as the correct answer for question number 7. And as usual, let's just kind of plug that in. So answer choice B says we have FG followed by FG again, and lastly 2 H's under sports. So from there, let's take a look at the local questions. Number 8, if both photographs and lifestyle are by H. So essentially that just locks us into this template right here, and we've already figured everything out, right? So we can jump right in. The question is, which of the following must be true? Answer choice A, exactly 1 F, and no, in that scenario we have 2 F's, so that's not going to fly. Answer choice B, exactly 3 Fs. And again, no, we have 2, so that's also not going to work. Answer choice C, there's exactly 1 G. And yeah, there it is. We would have to have exactly 1 G. The best answer to question number 8 is C. Next, question number 9. If one photo in lifestyle is by G and one is by H, so if we had exactly 1 H and 1 G, well, actually, I suppose that would force us into this template over here, wouldn't it? Because here we have 2 H's, that's not going to fly, and here we're not allowed any H's, so that's not going to work either. So we're dealing with this scenario, 1 H, and this would have to be a G. Now, I suppose there's not much more we could figure out, because in here, we just have to overlap with these guys, but it could be there could be a G there could be 2 G's there even, there could be an H. I'm not sure what more we can do. So you know what, let's just keep in mind that we're in this template and see what we can do with the rest of it. The question asks, which of the following would have to be true? Exactly 1 photo in Metro is F, and no, we don't really know much about Metro. This was still flexible, so that doesn't seem like it has to be true. Answer choice B, exactly 1 photo in Metro is G, and do we have to? I mean, we could have had, let's say, an H and an F over here, perhaps, and that wouldn't break anything. So answer choice C, both photos in Metro are by G. Again, we don't really know what exactly happens in Metro. Answer choice D, exactly 1 photo in Sports is by H, and yeah, there it is. There's exactly 1 H over here. So the best answer to question number 9 is D. Next, question number 10 is global. We'll come back to this one in a second. Let's take a look at question number 11. If 1 photo in lifestyle is by F and 1 is by H, so if we have an FH block under lifestyle, now again, that would force you into this template right here. We would have to have an H and an F, right? Because otherwise, here we're not allowed H's, and here we have obviously double H's. So the only way to have an HF block is this template. And I suppose that would mean that this would have to have a G, because we have to have a G somewhere. In fact, let's just kind of run that scenario just so we don't have to keep that in mind. So we would have all of these guys, and yeah, we need a G somewhere, so G would have to go over here, and I suppose with just one of H or F, because these two still need to share one element. So the question itself now asks, what could be true? A, both photos in Metro are by F? No, because we have to have a G there. Both photos in Metro are by G? No, because we have to have an H or an F. Next, exactly 1 photo is by H. And does that, oh, I guess that could be true, right? We could have exactly 1 H here with a G. So that seems like it would have been fine. Let's hold on to C. Just in case, answer choice D, both photos in Sports are by H. No, we have to have just 1 H here. And answer choice D, neither photo is in Sports is by H. And no, we do have to have an H over there. So once again, the best answer to question number 11 is C. Next, question number 12. If both photos in one of the sections are by G, so if we have to have a GG block, now we can see based on our exhaustions, it's definitely not going to be in Sports ever. But I suppose in this template, it could have been in L, or it could potentially, we could have maybe had a GG block in one of these two positions. So if we have to have a GG block, well, I suppose one thing we know for sure is we are not in this template, right? That much is for certain. We could be in one of these two templates, and the GG block seemingly could go here, it could go here, or in this template, it could go there. You know what? That might be enough information to play with, though. Let's see what we can do with that. If not, we can always kind of test things out a little bit further. The question asks what could have happened. Answer choice A, both photos in lifestyle are by H, and no, we said that that's the one scenario that would not have worked here, so A is out. B, 1 photo in lifestyle is by F and 1 is by H, and maybe in this template, if we had an F over here and an H over here, oh no, that wouldn't have worked, because then if you put a G and a G here, then these guys would not be sharing anything, and that would have broken, so answer choice B still would not be okay. Answer choice C, both photographs in Metro are by F. Could we have had double Fs under Metro? And no, because if you put, I mean, in this template, the GG block would have taken up this slot, so that's not going to work. But in this template, if you put double Fs over here, then your double G's are going to have to go here, and then there's nothing being shared between these two, so that wouldn't have worked. Answer choice D, one photo in Metro is by G and one is by H. Could we have a G and an H under Metro? And maybe in this template here, if we did a GH over here and a double G over there, oh no, because then there's no F's, and we need to have at least one F, so that's not going to work. And in this template, obviously it wouldn't have worked because the GG block would have had to go here, so D is out. Oh boy, answer choice E. Both photographs in sports are by H, and yes, we said that this template would have potentially been viable, so we could have had double H's under sports, and then you could have put a GG block either here or there, and that would have been okay. So the best answer to question number 12 is E. Next, question number 13. If one photo in Metro is by F and one is by H, so if Metro gets an F and an H, so essentially that just, well, it forces us out of this. This is not going to happen. In terms of having an FH block, I suppose that's consistent with this. We could have had an F here and an H here, as long as this is a G, because we need a G somewhere. Or I guess we could have had an F here and an H here, as long as we have an F and a G there. So it feels like we have a little bit of flexibility. Again, we're definitely not in this template, since we definitely don't have FH under Metro there, but this would be consistent with both of these templates. Now, again, you could try to do this out on paper and play out both possibilities, but let's see, maybe this is enough information to answer the question as is. The question asks, what could have happened? Answer choice A, both lifestyles, and you know what, just as a reminder, we can say that we have to have an FH. In fact, let's put that over here. We have to have an FH block in Metro in one of these two. So the question now asks once again, could we have both lifestyles be Fuentes? And no, I suppose that wouldn't really work, because if you put the FH block here, then we need a G somewhere. You're going to have a G there. And if you put the FH block here, same problem, you'll need a G somewhere over here, so that isn't going to fly. Answer choice B, both photographs in lifestyle are by G, and no, because if you have FH over here, there's no way to put a GG block over there, because then these two will not share anything. That's not going to work either. Answer choice C, one photo in lifestyle is by G and the other is by H. Could we have a G and an H under lifestyle? And actually, yeah, why not? You could, if we have the FH block here, then we could have G and H over there. That seems entirely plausible. Let's hold on to C. Just in case, let's take a look at the rest. D, both photographs in lifestyle are by H, and well, here it wouldn't work, because if you put FH over here, again, we need a G somewhere, so the G is going to have to go there. And in this template, if you put FH, again, you can't have double H's over there, because then we would not have any G's, so that's not going to work. Answer choice E, both photographs in sports are by F, and no, that doesn't happen in either of these templates. So best answer to question number 13 is C. Lastly, the one global question, let's take a look. We have number 10. Which of the following could be true? And of course, this is no longer applicable, right? So we're going to get rid of it. Which of the following could be true of Fuentes' photographs? Let's take a look. A, one is in lifestyle and one is in Metro and sports. So could we have exactly one F everywhere? And actually, maybe, why not? If you take a look at this template, arguably we have an F here, we could have an F there, and couldn't we place the third F over here? And I guess it would have to be with G, but that actually seems pretty good, right? For the record, if you're tight on time, I would just run with this. We have an almost kind of sure thing here for answer choice A. Just in case though, let's take a quick look at the rest of these. Answer choice B, one in lifestyle and two in sports. Well, no, because if we have two in sports, then we have to have two H's here, so that's definitely not going to work. Answer choice C, two lifestyle, one in sports, and no, because the only scenario where we can have two F's over here, then these two are H's, right? So that's not going to work, so C is out. D, one Metro, two sports. Could we have one Metro and two sports? No, because the one scenario where we have two sports, there are none in Metro, so that's not going to work. E, 2 Metro, 1 in sports. And no, the only scenario where we have 1 in sports, if we placed 2 of them in Metro, then this would have to be G, but then there would be no overlap between these two groups, and that's not going to work. So the best answer, once again, was answer choice A for question number 10.